Hi everyone, Will from Runchat here. I wanted to do a quick introduction to um, the coding tutorial series that we did for Runchat, just to give you a little bit of a walk around in terms of how the code node actually works in Runchat. Um, just so that before you watch that tutorial series, you have a bit of a sense of like what that node can do and uh, let's see, change this one. Um, and how to use it for different things in Runchat. So the first thing is to create the code node. You can just double click and type code, or you can find it in the tools menu. And the code node has 4 different views up here. So the first one is chat view. This lets you just chat to whatever agent you have selected, which will then write code for you. You can change the agent just by clicking on this, and it will go and let you pick any other language model that you've got installed to use. And you can add more if you want to from Open Router. So this lets you use the latest, greatest models as they come out. So that's chat mode. Then you got code mode, which is just pure code, and you can write HTML or JavaScript or Rhino Python straight in here and then run it. We have side-by-side view. So you've got your chat view and you've also got your code view. You can resize those as you need to. And then if you're on HTML mode or React mode, then you also get this preview option here. And that's just going to preview what that code would look like if it was rendered. Keeping on going, we've got a button to create a new chat. So that's useful if you want to just clear your chat history. Maybe you've got a lot of like a big long conversation. It's starting to cost you a lot of tokens just sending that conversation each time. You can just clear it. Then you can load the chat history for this particular node here. So it's going to show you any previous chats that you've had. And we've got undo, redo. So that's useful if the agent goes and applies a bunch of code changes to your model and you run it and you go, actually, I don't like that. You can just click undo, it'll undo those changes. Full screen button lets us expand that full screen. That's how I typically use the code editor with things like Rhino. Just fill it full screen because you're able to just write in whatever you want here and then you can hit play to run it. Now, using the code editor in Rhino, we have to make sure that the output is Rhino Python. So this tells Runchat that specifically what we're writing in this code editor here is Python code that's going to be run in Rhino. It's not going to be run in Runchat. And then that will give you this little run button with the Rhino icon. That's how you know that you've got it all set up so that code is going to run in Rhino. It's not going to run on our server because you can use this code node for lots of different things, not just for writing Python code. You can pretty much write any JavaScript code that you like here. There's a bunch of examples for how to use the code node. These primarily, or all of these are examples of using it just purely within Runchat, not within Rhino. So you can use it for generating like 3JS, which is 3D apps. Use it for generating HTML, for creating custom UI for nodes in Runchat, for searching the internet for API docs and implementing things. Like if you want to get Runchat to connect to some service like Notion or Slack or Discord or something. There's an example for posting to Discord. Example, just writing a simple function for doing random selection, things like that. You can kind of write any code you like in here. Now, a couple of other little buttons. We've got a menu to add tools for the code node. What this lets you do is it just gives the agent access to one of your other workflows that you've made in Runchat, so it can use it as a tool. Primarily, the tools you might want to use with the code node are search tools so that it can go search the web for better documentation. If you're doing something really complex in Rhino and you find that the agent just can't write the code you want, you might want to try turning on the web search tools and saying, hey, go look at the Rhino forum and see if you can find some answers to this question. Then over on the far left, we have the config for the code node. If you're just using this code node in Rhino, you don't need to worry about this, but this lets us add more input parameters to the code node if we want to. So maybe we want to pass in a bunch of variables that we can then use in our code. And there's also some tools here if we're using the code node to create custom components. So that gives you a kind of a full overview of this node. Last thing as an overview is if you type in Runchat scripts in the command line, this is going to open a browser for all of the scripts that you have run with the code node, like run the Rhino scripts you've run with the code node in Rhino, and they'll be organized by workflow. So I've got a whole lot here because uh, these are all created before we started organizing by workflow. But for you, you'll see folders here organized by your workflow name. So I've got one called thumbs, which is generating YouTube thumbs and just doing some testing. You can click through and see all of the different variations, like versions of your code. So each time you press play on the code node in the Runchat workflow, it's going to save a new version of that script here. So you can easily go find every single version and click any of these and click run, and it's just going to run it over here. So this one I think is just a test script. It makes a sphere at the origin, or makes a bunch of spheres at the origin. This one looks like it's probably doing the same thing, etc. So that's really, really useful just because it means that we don't have to go and keep pressing run all the time on this node if you're not changing the script. So you press run once just to download the script and run it in Rhino. After that, you can find it in your script editor here, or script browser, sorry, to rerun it if you need to rerun it without changing anything. So this is a new feature since we did the tutorial videos. Just wanted to make you aware of it. Thanks.